How does it look like when you are doing the 80-hour work week? That's what we're going to talk about today. Look at this schedule. When someone hears, oh, he wants me to do the 80-hour work week, they think for some reason that one full-time job is 40 hours and then a second full-time job is 40 hours. And so we need to stack those together, which means that every day is 16 hours a day, right? No. Okay. Now, it might be logical to think that way, so this is how it would look like. You start at 6 and then you don't finish before 10 at night. That's 16 hours. Actually, doesn't look that bad. 16 hours is not that bad, but that's not how the 80-hour work week works. So I'm going to explain it thoroughly today using this schedule as an example. Hopefully you'll get something out of this video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Let's get right into it. So what I suggest in the morning is to actually go to bed at 10. Actually, that's a fantastic time to go to bed. If you can, fantastic. So the first day or part of the day, you're going to have for self-care. For sure. Great. Maybe you'll even have 2 hours. My gosh, that's fantastic. Okay. Here, now you start work at 8 and you work from 8 to 4. That's a normal job. Okay. Between 4 and 5, you're going to have 1 hour to transport yourself, to take lunch, to do whatever you need to do. So here you got your 40 hours a week in your first job. The second job, you could start, and this is what I did, okay? I literally worked a full-time job in the morning, and then I worked an evening job. So what I would do here is I would work from 5 to 9. Great. Which means that I have time to come home at night and get in some food, and relax before I go to sleep and, prepare for the next day, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so here could be self-care. This is how it kind of would look like throughout the week. You have time to exercise, you have time to journal, you have time to meditate if that's what you want to do. You have time for pretty much everything, and by all means, you've got 8 hours of sleep every single day. This is Monday to Friday. But if you notice here, this is completely unreasonable to do what I put here, right? Okay, so we're going to put self-care here. And we're going to put it until this part, right? Currently, right now, we're at how many hours? 60 hours a week. Great. So let's say you're at the beginning of your journey towards success. I don't recommend starting a business and having that all weekend long because you're not going to be effective. So what I suggest you do instead is you have one of the jobs where you work like that. Let's see, how many hours is that? That's 12 hours and actually not even necessary. Okay, let's see, maybe we could do here. So that would be, let's see, up until 7, from 8 to 7. How many hours? That's 10 hours. 5, 10, great, 70 hours. Okay, cool. I like that. And then let's do the same here. Boom. This is how a great schedule looks like. Now, you can choose to have self-care more in the mornings, and then you work until 9 o'clock at night, right? You get 3 hours in the morning until 12, for example, and then you end at 10 or 8 or whatever it is. Just get your 10 hours in if you possibly can, or 11 hours in, whatever is necessary for you to have an 80-hour work week. Look at that. You have 80 hours a week working. I don't know if you can see this because of my face, but if you can see it, awesome. 80-hour work week. Fantastic. So if you're doing 80 hours and you're making $10, okay? You now are making $800 a week, $3,200 a month. And this is if you're at minimum wage in a first world country. Most places will probably pay you $15 an hour. I don't know. Maybe not where you live, exactly where you live, but there is potential that they would. And if that's the case, you'd be making $1,200. Hopefully after taxes, you're making $4,800 on minimum wage. Can you do a lot with that? You can if you live at home and you leave early in the morning and you come home late at night. Like if you can actually save all of that money, at the end of the year, it's $50,000 plus, almost $60,000. Could you imagine what you could do with that if you set that aside? Now we're talking about having the discipline, having the work ethic, figuring out your obsession so that you can actually, build towards your freedom. Because most of the time, most of you guys are not obsessed with freedom. Because when you do get free time, you don't actually do anything with that free time. You're just planning and not doing anything. So how do we get you to get towards the 80-hour work week? Well, maybe it could be, for example, this, that you don't have 10 hours of work on Saturday and Sunday. And instead, you choose to do here, 2 hours of business on each of those days. That's a very great way to start the 80-hour work week. So that would be an 80-hour work week. You put in some business hours. Fantastic. Now we're getting somewhere, right? And so the business hours that are there, it's freaking awesome. If you're really disciplined, you will manage to put some business hours here, right? So you've got potential to actually up the capacity by doing small things with your business on a daily basis because you're obsessed with it. If you're not obsessed with building a business to get towards getting your freedom, you're not going to do this schedule. And then you're going to quit this schedule and go back to a freaking measly 40 hours a week and then tons of self-care because you need so much self-care. Like, you're living such a comfortable life that it's impossible for you to gain success with the schedule that you've got. Everything is found in your daily schedule. There is nothing else than your daily schedule. This is it. This is it. Okay, so what happens if you actually begin to make a little bit of money from your business? Okay? What happens? What you're going to do is you're going to switch that over into business. Your worst job is going to be your business hours now. Okay? So you quit that and you begin to have business hours at night. Oh man, this is a schedule right here. Oh wow. Now this is 84 hours a week, but you have enough time for self-care, taking care of yourself, obviously, and eating your lunches, the food that you've prepared, spending time with family. There's not going to be much friends, and that's okay. You're building your future. You're only going to be doing this intense type of 80-hour work week habitual change for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months until it becomes who you are. Once it becomes who you are, then it's not hard anymore. It's only hard when you're transitioning from the 40-hour work week or 0-hour work week or 20-hour work week towards the 80-hour work week. That's painful. But when you've been doing the 80-hour work week for a long period of time, it's not a big deal anymore. So the cool part is that you'll have the discipline to do this. You quit the weekend job and you now are doing business all weekend long. Okay? Maybe you have an extra self-care hour here. Fantastic. Because you've got some capacity now. Maybe you could even put this. Wow. Look at that. That's 80 hours. This is your self-care routine. This is a fantastic routine. I would love for you to have that. Eventually, you come to the point where you're making, maybe it's $5,000 a month from your business, and you've stacked a lot of cash over the past 6, 12, 14, 18, 24 months, to the point where you no longer need a full-time job. Now you can actually switch this over to business, and now you're full-time in business, doing 80-hour work week and being consistent like no one's business, right? And making things happen. And you won't recognize your life if you do this schedule for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you will have then set yourself up for life for becoming a millionaire. Like, success is literally just doing building blocks over time and having the right schedule. This is how it works, okay? If you put in the 80-hour work week and you continuously increase the leverage of how you work, and eventually you'll come to the point where you're hiring other people and they put in the work, right? And you're making sure that you're working on the right stuff and hiring and training and recruiting and doing the things that expands your power, your ability to do, and your business. Now we're talking. You will become a millionaire if you do that, right? So it's just a matter of putting in the right pieces, and then eventually it's going to happen for you. So as you see on the right hand side, it's not 16 hours a day, it's 11 and a half hours a day that you do every single day. That's all it is. And eventually you can switch that over to 8 hours of job and 3.5 hours of business, and you're getting all of the sleep that you need. You're getting everything that you need with this schedule. It's so easy. Number one, okay, apply for 100 jobs every single day until you have 3 jobs. You have 1 daytime full-time job, and then 2 part-time jobs, or maybe even just 1 part-time job. You'll be able to then quit your worst job with your business income, more time invested into your business, then quit your second worst job, more time invested into the business. Now you have cash flow coming in. You can quit your last job and you're free for the rest of your life. Very simply put, do this plan that I just showed you. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.